off with a show. Joe Audio and my bro Paco, about to bring that laugh attack, yeah, about that. Make you laugh out loud, cause this is where it's at.
This the best podcast that you'll ever hear. It's nice and comforting just for your ears. We got gimmicks and skits with limitless wits, making other podcasters just quit.
This is me, Gene, the Dark Marks from Down Under, back on your About That with Paco and Joe Audio and my main man, Joe L. Pennington from the Dark Marks. So the Dark Marks are in the house here, and we together collectively are reviewing Movies for the Blind by Cage on the Classic Album Review. Take it away, Paco.
Yes. Okay, now, you know how I got a 4-part recipe for creating a classic album review. 20 points, up to 5 points on each system, or each criteria, if you will. Now, we're going to go ahead and start this off.
Why don't you tell them what the criteria is?
No, not yet, man. We're going to go ahead and start it off and get your thoughts on the album cover. Gene, go ahead and start it off, man, with the album cover, your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Paco. This is quite an evocative album cover. As you can see, you've got a guy taking his sunglasses off, and it's very much a homage to the movie They Live by Carpenter, starring Roddy Rowdy Piper. And being the fact that the album is called Movies for the Blind and playing on the whole They Live thing, like basically, if I've got this right from the movie, once you put these sunglasses on, you can see what's actually happening in the world. When you take the sunglasses off, in Cage's sense, you can see what's happening in his mind. The idea is that he's going to paint a picture through the album, through his words, what's happening in his mind. Movies for the Blind. And then on the right of that, that's a movie poster, at a cinema in the picture. And then to the right of that, you've just got a bunch of misfits. One of them looks like a serial killer clown. He looks like you've got a prostitute. There's another lady there with a big German shepherd, and they're going to see Movies for the Blind. I think it's a really cool image.
Yeah.
I like what it conveys. I'm going to give that. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Joel, please give us your thoughts on the album cover. What are your first impressions on that?
Gene kind of hit what I was going to say. Like, They Live is one of my favorite movies, so that was the first thing I saw when you told me the album to look up. I saw the cover, and I was like, oh, okay, it's like They Live. I was all about that.
Yeah, definitely. Very grimy looking, dope as far as really drives home. And when you hear the album, it really does kind of capture that whole griminess of the art.
Yeah, and then okay, I didn't really fully grasp
like the Pulp Fiction groove to it.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even grasp the name of the album was Movies for the Blind, like that he's gonna pretty much paint a picture with his words, so you don't have to be able to see it because you're not gonna see it, you're gonna hear it, and that picture gets painted in your mind. So when once I put two and two together, then I became enlightened and realized what it was all about. So it's definitely a dope cover to represent the album itself.
Yeah, it took a few hours for me to explain to Jay what the title was and how it works with the album, but he finally got it.
Anyways, not true. But
look. All right,
that was a couple minutes.
Paco's 4-part recipe for creating a classic album review. Not a secret. It's not a secret. We're doing this on YouTube. But look, the first part is beats. Second part is lyrics.
Yes.
Third part is hooks. And then the fourth part is features. We're going to go ahead and start it off with Gene. Why don't you...
Actually, hold on one second. Before we just because we're on YouTube, you're going to want to keep track of this. But on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. We're brand new to this, so we don't got many people out there on YouTube checking this out. So make sure you like and subscribe and share. Yeah, About That, the podcast, so we can keep bringing content to you. And when it's there, it'll hit you up on the notifications. Yeah, About That.
Absolutely.
So let's get back into the show. So who's going first, Gene?
Yeah, we'll start it. Well, Gene, would you mind kicking it off, man? Give us your thoughts on the beats and what do you score it?
Thank you, Paco. The beats we're looking at, yeah?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, the beats. I think they stand out. I mean, I think this album, if memory serves, 2002, it was released.
Yeah.
The beats are good. The production's good. It certainly sits fits the thematic of the album. They're not astounding. They're not like blow you away, but they're suitable for the concept of the album. And it doesn't sound cringy or dated or anything in 2020. So for that, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 there, Paco. What do you think?
Awesome. Joel, please give us your thoughts on the beats.
Beats, just, well, like I said, this is my first time listening to Cage. Like, so I just listened to this album twice. And just based off of the beats alone, just listenability, I'll give it a high 4 out of 5. Just like off of off of the listenability.
Okay, great.
All right, sounds good.
I'm gonna pick it up and run with it. You know, the beats are grimy, they're dope, just right up my alley. I absolutely love these. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 5. I think the beats were on hit, man. As far as, you know, with what he's trying to do with this album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jay, please give us your thoughts.
All right, so, I mean, I like the beats too, but I don't think as highly as Paco does, just because some of the beats did, quite honestly, sound like a Fruity Loops type production. The beats went well with the songs, you know, not to say that they're whack beats or anything like that, but they weren't like, I guess, the high quality, and maybe that is because of the griminess. So I will say out of a scale of 0 to 5, I'll go ahead and give this. I'm gonna give it a 3. So
all right.
You know, it's not my cup of tea, so I'm gonna give it a 3.
No, he's a hater. We get it.
Fair enough.
Fellas, could I say one thing about the beats there as well?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Just for context as well with the production, Cage calls himself Alex at certain times in this album. Now, Alex is taken from A Clockwork Orange, the protagonist of Clockwork Orange, the movie, which is very influential of this album.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is, a lot of the samples, like on the track Agent Orange, the synth on that track is pretty much sample taken from the soundtrack to A Clockwork Orange, which is a crazy old 1970s synth moog soundtrack. Yeah?
Okay.
So just to give context there.
That's a crazy film. If you've never seen Clockwork Orange,
that's a classic for sure. But I mean that kind of helps a little bit with understanding the beats. But you know, again, it's probably just that griminess that it's not something that I'm you know, really into that much.
Yeah, we get it. You don't like real hip hop beats, Gene. Why don't you keep it pushing, bro? He likes more Justin Timberlake type. But Gene,
I'm down with JT.
Yeah, no, but like his NSYNC days. Gene, if you don't mind, keep it pushing with the lyrics.
Absolutely. Lyrical. Lee, this guy's amazing. I really like his writing style. Now, I chose Cage because a lot of people, of course, know Eminem is like the great white hope of hip hop. But this guy was actually doing it a bit before Eminem. And he is a crazy white boy. He's a weirdo white boy. He did spend time in Stony Lodge Asylum, where this album is based. So this is actually based on his own experiences as well. So I thought I wanted people to know about Cage as well as Eminem. I think for me, Eminem is a fantastic rapper, bars for days, probably a better technical rapper. But this guy lyrically is a better poet. I think he's a better artist conceptually with pictures that he paints, with the themes and concepts of his albums. So in terms of lyrics, I'm definitely giving it a strong 5. And if I could, and Joel, or who's ever next on the lyrics?
Yes, Joel.
What do you think?
Like he really wasn't changing the game, but like you said, this is like 2002. Like, it's pretty much par for the course of what you expect. Like this kind of rap for like 2002. It's like I said, it's pretty much par for the course. It was just, you know, he's just like kind of treading water. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either.
Yeah. So out of a 5, 0 to 5, what would you rate it?
2.5.
Okay. I'm gonna just round it up to Should I round it up or round it down? Because I only do whole numbers. I don't know how to add halves. I don't like halves really.
Yeah. Always round up.
Okay.
Always round up.
All right, 3.
All right. Now for me, for my part. Now this guy, he's pretty dope. It's right up my alley. He reminds me of like Necro mixed with ODB mixed with Eminem. But he doesn't really stick to one certain style. But you could definitely tell there's influences from different rappers. And I like the way he could put that together. I'm gonna give this a strong 4. Just because it's it's movies for the blind. So you can really get a good visual of how violent his lyrics are. It's pretty dope as far as I'm concerned. So I'm gonna give him a 4.
All right, all right. So
Jay,
so
please take it away.
I was about to, and then you had to interrupt. No, so with lyrics, I'm gonna have to. All right, I'm gonna have to talk this out a bit because he at some points is really lyrical. At some points, maybe a little cliche in a sense, and then sometimes just maybe going for that shock factor. So I don't know if those lyrics were necessarily legit, and or just again for that shock factor. But it was still pretty tight all the way through. It kept my attention like all the way through. I mean, certain lyrics, like one of the things, and it's one of the songs I'm gonna suggest later on, when he talks about Eminem and then how he found Dr. Dre by saying the MD, things like that. Like there were some lyrics that were actually really really good. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give it. Man, I'm giving it a 4 as well. Just because it's strong. No, I'll take that back. I'm going to do it a 3. I'm going to give it a 3 just because not all the way. The whole album wasn't always strong, but there were some strong points. So it's kind of right middle of the road. It fluctuated back and forth for me.
Okay. So you didn't hear it. Go ahead. Let's keep it pushing, man. We got the hooks. Gene, why don't you go ahead and give us your thoughts, your rating, and whatever else you want to add.
Yes, absolutely. Hooks. The hooks basically are done by Cage in this album just to further establish that at this point in his life he was one insane motherfucker, basically. And it just is kind of used as a repetition, as a way to basically hammer home the fact that he's not feeling right in the head and he's not happy about it. But hey, I'm going to get high anyway. And I'll just continuously repeat that until I get to the next verse. So it works, again, in terms of the concept and style of the album, but certainly not extraordinary.
Yeah.
Don't want to give it a 2, but do enjoy them, so I'm going to 3.
Okay.
There, Paco. Thank you.
Yes. Joel, please give us your thoughts.
Gene basically said everything I was going to say. He stole all my thunder again.
I'm gonna have you go first next time then. So, what you give it a 3 then?
Yeah. It's a solid 3.
Yeah, solid 3, huh? Let me see, Paco.
Yeah, I won't turn it off, but I won't be like crank that shit.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's not. Well, I mean, you gotta.
I think it depends on the song.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Paco, why don't you go ahead and give your opinion, however wrong it may be.
Okay, go ahead.
Of what you consider.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and just address this hooks part. I actually like the hooks. They're stupid. They're like that hook too much is I just like how it's kind of dumb, but it's dope to me. You know what I'm saying? It's very simple, but I just love that simplistic kind of get to the point kind of hooks. And I'm gonna go. What's that?
I was gonna say it's fun and it's fun and stupid.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just not too much. You don't gotta think too much. It's just go with it kind of thing. I'm gonna give this a 5.
Yeah,
I like his hooks. They're kind of like,
kind of like you.
Yeah, they're stupid. You know what I'm saying? I like them though. Hey, I like that.
Yeah, no. Okay, so hooks. Would you like my opinion on this?
No, but you know what? Go ahead and give it to the people.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying?
On the hooks, I kind of get what Paco's saying, and some of the hooks are like, I feel like they're a little bit over the top, like stupid, dumb, a little bit, on purpose. So like, I kind of feel what he was doing there. Very, very similar to the to Eminem back in the day. How Eminem kind of did this little shock factor type of deal. Like he said, these, I'm on drugs type of thing. So that's what Cage is also kind of doing in his own way. So I'm gonna give it a 4, just because I think the hooks are done well. But it's like amateur hour, only because I've heard Eminem. If I didn't hear Eminem, before hearing Cage, I might have rated him higher. But I just feel like it's almost a copycat scenario where they're trying to do the same. He's trying to do the same thing Eminem's doing.
Well, okay.
So
that's fair. You know what? We're going to go ahead and start with Joel this time. You know what I'm saying? Give us your thoughts on the features. What do you think? What do you rate them?
It was all right. Like, look, you get nothing really changing the fucking game here.
Yeah.
But like I said, they were solid features. Guys came in and did their hot 16. Nobody like really stunk up a track I could think of.
Yeah. What would you rate that?
Probably I'll give it 3.
3.
All right.
Gene, please give us your thoughts.
Yeah. Now the features are done by Mr. Eon and what's his name from High and Mighty, basically the crew that he was kicking with and doing stuff with back then. They only come in, I think, 1 or 2 songs as well. That's the thing with Cage. He doesn't do features. He raps whole albums by himself. And I think after this, the next 4 or so albums after this, there's no features whatsoever, and not counting the Def Jux period. So in terms of features, I mean, this was just kind of a guest appearance, almost even as a way to say thank you to the guys who helped him start off. But they come up, they do their well. They're very much on the same page as Cage as well, so they're not breaking the mold of the album there. 3. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 there, Paco.
All right, great. As for my part, the features, it blended well with the album, so it pretty much didn't really hurt, the album overall. I'm going to go ahead and I'll just give this a 4, Oh, wait, I'm the first one to give it a 4. So I'm going to give it a 4 just because, like I said, it doesn't hurt, what I'm saying, and it just really blends well. The overall album, if you push play, and it got the same feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, along the same lines, I honestly didn't really know who the features were. So unless Eminem was featured on this, I didn't know. But
Wow. I'm gonna tag Cage on this. All right.
No, anyway, yeah.
So that way he can see what you're saying.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead and tag him. Let him know.
I'm gonna tag him.
But just as long as you don't let him know where we live, I'm cool with that.
I ain't worried about
anyway,
that.
so
I'm not worried about that.
No, but I'm saying,
go ahead, man.
So with the features, I didn't know any of the features, but all the features brought added to the tracks. So they didn't come whack or nothing. So they all came pretty tight, and I would say kept the same energy level, or even brought it up a little bit more on the songs that they were on. So I'm going to go ahead and give the features a 5 because I think of how well they were embedded into the album, and, like I said, didn't take away, but even added. And even some of the samples and or the, whatever was brought into externally into the album, I think it all increases the value of the album. So I'll say a 5 on the features.
All right. Great. Thank you so much for your input. I do appreciate it sometimes. You know what? Gene, why don't you go ahead and pick a verse for the people to hear,
Certainly, Paco. I have chosen the second verse from the track Agent Orange. Agent Orange being the track which I think exemplifies the Clockwork Orange influence and thematic. And the second verse is just purely an example of how he's out to shock the audience based on his insanity in a not so serious way. You guys have definitely been on point with that. He's out to kind of be silly and shock and have a good time with the madness and the dire crap that he's been through, and how he expresses it on this verse. Yeah, take it away.
I survived abortion, got mushed in that canister-shaped coffin till stolen from the garbage I was tossed in. Sticks, snatching cream like links, blow shotguns through the sky, making ETI shit. See me twist and leap with my peeps from psychiatrics. Get hot, run up in your crib and fuck your mom's backwards. Lost in the dust, don't give a fuck about dangerous. I'm in it for the whip, plus the cream in the head. Rush, ready to bust any trick that talk slick. Know a crew of devils in my head that force me to walk. Wait, death in my pocket for the curious. At your execution, see 12 faces of Jesus in your jury. This orange agent, shit on a vagrant. Caught you in the alley by yourself, then left your head vacant. Dare you sample some of the stress in my life? Giving MC brain surgery with butterfly knife. For all you cunts that try to spit with your bitch click behind ya. Wake up in the morning with a horse head beside ya.
Okay, Joel, Shogun there. Which verse have you chosen for the people from Cage's masterpiece here, Movies for the Blind?
The second verse from the song Too Much.
Yo, Chris, I think they think you know too much. Yeah, sis, I think you put coke up your nose too much. They cut my hands off so I couldn't hold too much. They try to kill me through my dick with these hoes too much. You stack dough too much, you smack holes too much. Well, you can blame it on the mint leaves, I roll too much. They cut my hands off so I couldn't hold too much. Don't try to stand off, bullet holes show too much. They say weed on dust, where the ounce a pound is like jumping out of building, grabbing napkins on the way down. My implant I scarred, I'm anti-star, though I shine like one buried underground with y'all. And I tried to learn good, just wasn't concerned. Should I really be on my 6th bottle of wormwood? My skin is burning, blistering aloe out. Drag this big fat bitch in to see shallow how. I drink Jack Puff Black in Orange County, bought a gun with a body to stick in this whore's outie. Knew this kid crazy would stick dope in a chick opener. Then I changed my name to Cage like Nick Coppola. All these snakes with their forked tongue stitched together. After I put down the pepper, I switch the weather. Whatever rights they wanna shrug off for safety, feeling taken for a ride by your parents cause they kneeling to Satan. Yo, Chris, I think they think you know too much.
Alright, so what did you think of that verse, Paco?
That was dope. Hard body all day. I rock with it, man. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give a little sample for the people here. I'm going to just go ahead and play the intro, you know?
Yeah, let it rock.
Yeah, it really illustrates the whole, what you're getting into. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. Feel me?
When I first wake, I administer the usual morning walk through death. No sense in abusing your lungs with pepper. I go straight for a high-grade phencyclidine with all the extras. Then I like to open the walls in the house, and since it's never mine, I start immediately. I can destroy an entire upstairs 6-bedroom penthouse in under 15 minutes. And after this one, I'll be up to 1,000. For a rush, some jump from planes or fly them into buildings. I blackmail the wives of broadcast gods. And every quarter moon, it seems the situation asks for a bit of the old demolition. Since none of you can see, I won't waste your time with special effects. For these are the hateful and shermed out adventures of a child that dared defy a conformist lifestyle.
Okay, yeah, you see what I mean by he really introduces the album with that. Jay, why don't you give us a song, or no, give us a verse from a song,
okay,
that you want the people to hear,
yes,
from the album.
I
Movies
will.
for the Blind.
I think
by
I can.
Cage.
Hopefully,
if you don't mind,
I do
please
not.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to pick the first verse from Escape to 88. I like this verse just because of what he says. So listen to the lyrics, and you'll understand why I referred to another white rapper earlier by the name of Eminem.
That's no question.
Welcome to a piece of brain tissue, my brain's lungs filled with octane like liquid that came from some silly sedative selling illy. Really? By the jar, pump the car full of grape jelly. Called a Ronda after I shit on the dash, cause I can't stand hooked up Honda. The three maneuvers so swiftly in and out of looters through checkpoints with juice and stash coolers. 2002, my albums played through. ID on the window like it's fucking Beirut. Too bad no planes flew into MTV. I'll never get a platinum plaque for MP3. Being blackballed by a white MC. Pause. I guess that faggot found the right MD. And I'm twisted, but not like faggots that suck fame. This clown's insane. I'm sicker with metal than mud vein. I trained my following like a bitch modeling. Ate just like a god and it won't stop hollering. Fuck needing your TV to be a rock star. Punch a hole through Mark Wahlberg's chest and then a cop car. Put my brain in it, I wouldn't last a minute. Scribble some shit in 30, I'm love like gimmicks. Sluts, cynics, ducks with dip spinach. Fucking you up in the front row's good for image.
All right, so did you catch those references? I'm sure you did. Eminem, Dr. Dre, in case you didn't know. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead. We added up all the totals for all the people on the podcast just to let you know what we rated this album.
All the homies on the podcast.
All the homies on the podcast. So we're going to start out first with Gene. So, Paco, why don't you tell Gene what he got, and then we'll ask Gene if he thinks that represents what he scored it as.
I believe he knows what he gave it. Do you remember what you gave it?
Yes, I do, Paco.
Okay, give us your thoughts.
I gave it a 15 there, Paco. I didn't think I was going to be. I didn't think the score was going to be low. I expected it to be higher, but being objective as we must with these reviews, I think that is fair. It is a classic album for Cage and for white boy rap and alternative indie rap as well. Absolutely, Cage has had a huge influence, and this album was the start of it all. He has improved both lyrically, conceptually, and production-wise with his later albums quite significantly. So maybe that this album is, maybe you could say, it's a little dated, so maybe that's why it's coming out as a 15 for me, but it's still an album that I will absolutely throw on and show anyone because it is still very enjoyable and always will be. So, yeah, 15's fair there, Paco. Yeah.
Great. Okay, Joel, you gave this 13 out of 20. Does that reflect how you feel?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, do you have any thoughts on that?
They're like, again, 13 out of 20. That about sums up how I feel about the album.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up.
Okay,
Paco, what'd you give it? Well, looks like I gave it 18 out of 20. Now, I really like this ignorant stuff. Okay, this ignorant, violent visual painting, as well as grimy beats, man. I really like it. It's right up my alley. I highly recommend this album for people. You know, I suggested it to my homie, and he's like, yo, how come I never heard of this fool? You know, because he likes it. It's right up our alley.
Are you calling me your homie?
No, my homie
your brother.
Andrew. My homeboy Castro. Shout out to Castro, man. Make sure you follow him on Instagram, or I might plug it. I don't know if he wants me to. But look, that's the homie. You know what I'm saying? We always discuss hip hop, and you know that's right up my alley. Go ahead, Jay.
All right, so I gave it a 15. Is that correct? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
15. Okay.
Yeah.
So 15. You know, it's probably about where I would say it should be at. Maybe a little bit lower. Because honestly, the first time I started hearing it, the first few tracks, I was like, dude, this is tight. Like, I'm surprised I never heard of this dude. Like, it was coming in really strong. Like, a lot of the lyrics came through, and then like the album kept playing. You know, then it fell off a little bit. So I think that's where the lower score came. And then maybe the datedness. Definitely, if I heard this probably at the time when it came out, especially with, I keep referring to Eminem. if I heard about this album at the time when it came out with the whole deal, the beef with Eminem type of deal, then I think I probably would have rated it a little bit higher just because of the times, you know. But
yeah. All right, great.
Yeah, 15. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. You want to go now?
Yeah. Hey, Gene, why don't you go ahead and plug your podcast and your social media? Let people know where they can get at you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, myself and Joel here, we do the Dark Marks podcast. It's available on Spotify and YouTube, and Dark Marks at Dark Marks Podcast on Facebook as well. Joel, if you want to just say what we're recording tomorrow, how we're talking about the chamber and whatnot, please.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a review of the Elimination Chamber. Who was that? Pro Wrestling Illustrated put out their performers of the year list. So we're going to have something to say about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Dark Marks on the internet. Check us out.
Okay, great. Definitely check it out. You guys, you know what? You guys take us out of here. Any closing thoughts or words? Go ahead and say them. Now's the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel, go for it.
No, I have nothing. I have nothing else to say. I plugged all my pluggables.
Hey, either of you guys want to do a freestyle? Now's the time.
I'll pass.
Jay's dying to do a freestyle. I know he is.
No.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna leave. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, YouTube. If you're listening to it on YouTube, if you're not, then make sure you like and subscribe on whatever podcast that you're listening to this on.
Yeah.
Joe Audio, Paco, Gene, and Joel.
All right, great.
All right.
Stop the recording now.
All right.
All right.